So Ari Posner, you've been nominated for original score for 24 Hour Rental. Can you tell us a little bit about working on this particular film?
Well, it's a series, and it was 13 episodes of a very, very dark comedy, very off-color, very risque. In fact, when I first saw a couple of episodes, my reaction was, can they actually put this on TV? It does not sound... I've never seen anything like this on TV. But it also seemed to me like a really great opportunity to write some interesting music, which it was, so that was fun.
How much does, I guess a lot, but I'm going to ask anyway, how much does the script or the tone of the piece color what you're going to do as a composer?
The script, not so much. I mean, as composers, we often get invited in on the script stage to just read and get some sense of ideas, but you know, you don't really start cooking up too many ideas until you see what it looks like and you get a rough cut. A rough cut can tell you so much more than what a script would tell you.
I understand there's often a lot of back and forth where you'll compose something and then the director will say, no, that's not quite it, and there'll be some back and forth. Was there a lot on 24 Hour Rental, or are you used to that?
Definitely used to it, from working on shows like Flashpoint, where there was a lot of music and a lot of scrutiny on that music because it played a big part. So I'm used to going back to the drawing board for sure. I think it has to be part of the job. George Mihalka was the director and sort of the brain, you know, the creator of the show 24 Hour Rental. So I worked closely with him mostly, and he was just a pleasure. He was very inspiring to work with. He had lots of great ideas. You know, I had to go back for sure in places, but he was always really, it gave me good motivation to do so, and he was also very appreciative of the work, and it's so much easier to go back and fix things when directors and producers are also, you know, appreciating and enjoying the things that you're doing right, as opposed to just commenting on everything that you're doing wrong, you know.
What do you see as the biggest challenges, particularly for Canadian composers right now, for film composers, Canadian film composers?
Well, there's a lot of downward pressure on the business in general. I don't think that's a uniquely Canadian problem, but I think because of the nature of the size of this country and the size of the community, we feel it sooner and more, perhaps, because you know, it's a combination of the demand, the way people are viewing and you know, paying for their entertainment, I guess. That in combination with the technology, which is allowing more and more people to create high-quality sounding things, right? Both for albums and for film composing and TV composing. So the barrier to entry to the business is way lower than it used to be. And you know, it takes, I like to say there's a larger cup of coffee now. The cream still rises to the top, but there's a lot more to wade through to get up to the top.
I hear that. Yeah. What would you say to someone who is just getting into the industry, someone, say a young SOCAN member who wanted to end up in film composing? What advice would you give them, or what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give them?
I guess, well, two things. I think working with more seasoned composers is a great way to cut your teeth and get started and learn the ropes, and that's certainly what I did, and many other people that I know have done that. And if you can do that, if you can get an internship, even if it's, you know, pays very little or it pays nothing, just to have the hands-on experience of seeing how it's done, it's the best way to learn. And then the other side of it is doing your own networking, I guess, which, I mean, that can start when you're still in school. You know, I wish I did more of it when I was studying at York University. Yeah.
How has SOCAN been of help to film composers, do you think, and perhaps to yourself and specifically?
Well, it's a tremendous PRO SOCAN. You know, as I learn more and more about how these societies work around the world, I appreciate SOCAN more and more. I find that I mean, especially as I was saying, with the downward pressure on the fees that composers can charge, and sort of the upfront part of the business, the back end, the part that SOCAN's involved with, becomes more and more important to us, and it really it's something that every composer I know relies on it heavily. So you know, it's nice to have an organization that I know is on top of that, and that I can have good communication with. I can call them up. I can, you know, talk to them about tracking things down. It's just been a great PRO to work with, and it's only gotten better and better from the time that I first started. So hope it continues.
Great. Thanks very much for this.
My pleasure.